Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Aliens Colonial Marines, a first-person shooter from Gearbox Software. With me today are Synyster Dreamer. How you doing today?
Doing well yourself?
I'm doing excellent. And Impressions. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Awesome. So, Aliens Colonial Marines. Let's do this and see how it goes. So first off, did you guys hear anything prior to the release of this game, or hear anything about it?
Nope. I heard a little bit, but nothing much, and didn't expect anything out of it.
Impressions?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it except for the title, obviously. But I really don't see how a game that drops Predator can be possibly an improvement on the franchise.
Yeah, I remember watching early footage, and it looked interesting, like it had potential, but I didn't get my hopes up. Uh, with that said, let's
Are any of you Alien fans at all, as far as that franchise is concerned?
um, me personally, not really. I like the first two Aliens, but I mean, I'm not like, oh my god, Aliens is the greatest thing ever. I think those are the only two Alien movies I like, or just or Alien and Aliens. Sinister.
Uh, I've watched them, but never been a fan of it, so...
View impressions. We're on the topic.
Uh, I have seen all of them like in pieces, and I just picture it all as one movie.
Okay,
So
fair enough. I saw Sigourney Weaver's in all of them.
yeah.
Other than Prometheus. Anyway, so back to the review. We're going to start off the review by talking story. The story of Aliens Colonial Marine. You're a bunch of Marine. You're a Marine, and you're killing aliens. And there's more to it. I just couldn't figure out what was going on because I'm pretty sure if there was a story, they didn't tell it well.
Yeah, as far as I know of what the story was, is what I played was you go to a ship that sent an SOS out to go investigate it, and it's in some place where it's not supposed to be because it was sending an SOS from somewhere else. Yeah, that's as far as the story as I know it.
Impressions? Do you have any more insight?
I didn't care about the story at all. That's pretty much all I have to say on that.
All right. Well, the good thing is I just learned that there was an SOS signal sent out from that ship. I had no idea what the heck I was doing on that ship in the first place and why there were aliens on or xenomorphs. So the story sucked. That's pretty much the gist of what we just said. It was non-existent. So with that, we're now going to move into the meat of this game, which is the gameplay. Oh, gameplay. Let's start off with the guns. The game system with guns is you're allowed to have you get I think 8 guns total, but you can only have 2 equipped at a time. Then you have to use a very terrible interface, in my opinion, to switch out which guns you're using. And all the guns were either the shotgun was stupidly overpowered. I could kill things from like miles away in one hit. At least it seemed like that. And the assault rifles were just like LOLOL as well. You guys or your impressions on the guns of this game?
I don't know. I just picked whatever gun I could pick up and used it. I didn't pay attention to what interface was switching out. I was like, oh, I'm out of ammo on this one. Well, here's another gun. Pick it up. Keep shooting.
Yeah, impressions?
Were there other types of guns? Because as far as I could tell, it was just an assault rifle, a shotgun, and the grenade launcher.
You do pick up more as you play along.
Yeah, okay, well,
Not furthest in this game, so I know.
I don't know if it was just... Okay, I should mention that I played this game on Ultimate Badass mode, which is the hardest difficulty, and it wasn't... I was doing okay. I mean, I got killed a little easier, but it wasn't that hard. But you know something's wrong with the game when you're playing on the hardest difficulty and it's easy.
It's because the guns were overpowered. I mean, you can take down a xenomorph with the fully automatic that was supposed to be burst fire gun, like
Yeah.
3 shots.
Yeah, it's a burst fire weapon that fires at full auto. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and like I said, a xenomorph would go down in like 3 shots, and then you're like, oh, it's dead, move on. Oh, it's dead, and it really didn't take any skill to kill xenomorphs, which are supposedly the most deadliest creatures in the universe.
Yeah, and you can melee them. That's
Yeah.
not supposed to happen.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when they melee you, it's just like, ow, and then you just shoot them in the face and they die. It's like, okay, you could have just grappled me there and killed me, but okay.
Yeah, it's some of the mechanics for the aliens just seem clunky and not very worked out because like a lot of times like when I would face off with any of them, it was like okay, I shoot you, get hit a couple times, you stop moving. Oh, I can just waste you away.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I would. In a true aliens game, this is how it would work for me. If there's 5 xenomorphs running at you, you're dead. You would have to run, hide, and do whatever you can to survive 5 xenomorphs. This one you take on like 12 at a time. It's like ha 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 ha, and it's like really, these are what humanity fears are these little punching bags that I can take out really quickly. So I don't know. It killed a little bit of the what makes a xenomorph in the universe of aliens. And since we're on the topic of enemies, there's only really one enemy type for the xenomorphs, which are the ones that you just shoot in the face. There are, I think, 2 others. One's like there's a GIF online that if you've seen it, it's just like this really weird looking alien that's like all crunched up like an old man and walking very slowly. The reason for that is they are blind and have no sense of smell, but they have super hearing and explode when they make contact with you. So you have to walk around them, but they're kind of lame. And then there's another big one that just has a really big head.
Like the queen ones or whatever?
No, it wasn't a queen. It was like a tank.
Crusher.
Yeah, Crusher.
It was specifically made for this game to add in for multiplayer because it wasn't actually in the movie. They just added it in for this game. They're like, hey, let's give something to the game and give you something that crushes people.
And then there's also the face palmers.
Yeah. So that's it for enemies. Well, there's also humanoids because there is a military sect that's trying to kill you. I haven't quite figured out why they're doing that. They're probably working for Wayland, I would imagine, but they never got into that. But they're also kind of dumb and easy to take out. So in terms of enemy AI, it's pretty bad. Wouldn't you guys agree? Or would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, no challenge really.
All right, so the one thing that I do think they got somewhat right in this game, I'll give it 1 prop point, is with the atmosphere. It did feel, like I was in kind of a dire situation, at least with how they did like the spaceship where it's kind of decrepit and all slimy looking from being taken over. And then the planet that you end up on is also pretty, dark, stormy. So I think they got the atmosphere right, but failed at everything else.
The atmosphere works. It's just I was expecting more, especially when starting the game, first starting the mission. When you get on the ship, it's like, oh, a ship that's starting to be taken over. Okay, that's kind of cool. Hope something might jump out at me.
Yeah.
Impressive. Okay.
Yeah, the jumping out at you fear, I guess, was preserved, but they very quickly kind of nerfed that with the radar. So the beeping and when there's some in proximity. I noticed this too. Whenever they get close, they don't get picked up by radar, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah, no, but even with we'll talk about the radar in a second because I think that's probably one of the dumbest things in this game. Is even without the radar, I mean, the popping out, that was only for like the first 10 minutes of the game. After that, they're just full on come at you head on. You don't even need the radar after like the first 5 minutes. But you guys, I don't think got far enough to get to that point.
Yeah, I had the radar, but I never used it. It's like, hey, you can use this. Pop it out. Okay. Oh, look, event. Oh, look, alien came out of it. Bang, dead.
I do commend you for sticking with it. I didn't bother.
I don't know why I bothered. I had to.
Tell me this though. Did you make it? Was there a point where you could use the suit?
The
yellow, the mech suit, yellow.
Yeah,
thing?
Okay. Spoiler. Even though I'm gonna spoil it because I don't think
it's not a spoiler.
It's not worth it. Use it to kill the Crusher in the story.
Okay. Was it fun to use that? Okay.
No, it was terrible.
Okay, well.
There's another bad point that when you actually get to use the mechanical suit for battle, it sucks. It is by far the worst working mech suit. Controls made no sense. Okay, so with that, let's talk about the Faildar. We've touched on the Faildar a little bit. I like calling it Faildar because, like I said, I think it was the most useless piece of equipment ever. Because I remember when they were showing up the games, like, this radar is going to show, it'll show, where aliens are, but it'll also, like, ping the map as well when, when something falls or something happens just to throw you off. And that never happened. The radar was, if the aliens were coming at, anywhere, they were coming at me head on. If something dropped, I didn't care because I usually saw where I was coming from. You guys on the radar?
Never used it enough to really care.
That's because you don't use it. Impressions?
I did use it. I was a little more cautious in my playthrough because I was playing on the hardest difficulty. Which, I mean, the enemies weren't any harder, but you do take damage. You take more damage, so I was trying to be a little careful about not dying.
Right.
So what I ended up using the radar for was just to make sure the room I was coming up was going to be clear. But the radar shows, I'm about to enter a room. The radar clearly tells me that there's aliens in there. I walk into the room and the aliens disappear from the radar. I was like, okay, walks forward, then the aliens show up. So basically, the implication there is that the aliens don't show up on radar if they're not, if you're too close. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense.
Maybe because they just weren't moving or something. Who cares? It's a useless item. Since you brought up health, let's talk about health and ammo. Unlike, more modern FPSs, minus Duke Nukem, you don't have regenerating health. You have to find health packs in order to get your health up. As soon as your health is full, you can also find little armor packs that boost up armor. In terms of armor, I found it useless. It only lasted like 2 hits and then it was gone, even at full. And that was on, I think, hard. It was normal or hard I played on, I don't remember, but armor was useless, and there was enough health pack to where I didn't really care about health. I just kind of run and gun and was fine.
Yeah, pretty much that was the same. It's like anytime I saw anything move, shoot it dead before it even got to me or got near me. So I never really got scratched. I died once because I got caught on an edge and they swarmed me. It's like, okay, well, oops.
Impressions?
Again, because I was on the hard difficulty, I did rely on it a little more. But I can only imagine how easy it was if I played it on normal.
The game was too easy.
Yeah, I didn't have to. I seriously. I mean, I know the only reason I had to rely on health packs a little bit was because it was hard mode. Yeah. Aside from that,
Alright, I think that's it for gameplay. It's very basic FPS. You point, click, and shoot, and it doesn't do a good job of it, in my opinion. So overall gameplay, let's just give a vote on that. Did you think anything was really... Did you think Aliens pulled it off?
No.
Play of my guesses. Synyster says no. Impressions?
Just, like... did they do anything right, you mean? Or
yeah, gameplay.
Gameplay?
In gameplay.
I'll give it one thing. The guns sound right.
Alright, so gun sounds.
Yeah. It's not synchronous with the weapon, but it's the correct sound from the franchise. That's all I can say.
Alright, so with that, we'll move into the last part of which is the multiplayer aspect. We won't spend a lot of time on it, because once again, it didn't do much with it. It's your average multiplayer. Except with aliens.
And if you didn't have communication or you didn't pay attention where your team was and you got by yourself,
you're dead.
You were screwed.
Really? A game that's reliant on communication? Okay.
Yeah, that's how the whole game should have felt, is, if you're alone, you're dead. And multiplayer did do it to some extent in one mode. There's I forget, that's the Hunter mode, isn't it? Or
I believe that was the 4v4, which is the escape, where it's the Marines trying to get to evac.
Yeah. That's the only multiplayer that I played that I actually liked. All the other ones were just basic, basic and terrible.
Yeah, normal deathmatch and those stupid things.
Did you play any of the multiplayer impressions?
No. Revengeance came in the mail, so I stopped.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah, at least in my opinion, multiplayer is kind of terrible.
Multiplayer, it wasn't one of the greatest makes for platform.
It's very generic and bad. Okay, and that's it. I can't think of anything else to say on this game. You guys, anything?
Nope.
So with that, we'll go into our verdicts. For those of you who have never listened to one of our podcast video reviews, we don't do a point system here at Rule of 3 because we find numbers to be arbitrary and mean nothing in the long run. Instead, we do a buy, rent, pass. Buy means we think that the game is worth the full price of the game, whatever it is, because it's fun enough, has enough content, story. It's just thoroughly enjoyable and it's worth the money. Rent means it was okay to okay, good game, not quite worth full price. Either rent it or wait for it to go half off or on sale or something, or buy a used copy. And pass means we think it was just terrible and total waste of time. So with that, let's get on to the reviews. Let's start with Synyster. What did you give this game?
I gave it a pass, but very slightly, because if anything, I'd wait till it was maybe like $5, like the throwaway bin, to buy it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just like it's a good game to get your attention. That's about it.
Impressions.
I gave it a pass. I struggle to give it any particular positive points. I mean, with a couple details that it got right as far as the franchise is concerned, there's really I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't even bother to play the multiplayer. But if you're an Alien fan, you still shouldn't buy the game. Don't buy the game. You'll be disappointed.
And I also give this game a pass. It wasn't quite as bad as Warfighter. For those of you who watched the Warfighter review, I hated that. I didn't quite hate it as much, but it took everything I got to get as far as I did, and that was painful. And
wait, Medal of Honor Warfighter?
Yeah.
I didn't know you did that one.
Yeah, it was while you're in Japan.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or no, it was while you're at school or something. I forget. But anyway.
Yeah, it was something the two of us did.
Go back and watch that if you want to hear me on just pure rage at a game. Aliens, I didn't rage, but it was still just painful, and I got bored and I couldn't finish it. The story was I couldn't figure it out, so I gave up. So there you go, 3 passes. So obviously, Aliens, Colonial Marines, in our opinion, sucks balls. And
language. No, just kidding.
oh man. So with that, that's it. Thank you, Synyster and Impressions, for joining me today. Next week is Metal Gear Revengeance from Planet Games and Konami and Kojima Studios.
Revengeance. I don't know if you're doing that sarcastically.
Revengeance?
No, Revengeance.
Vengeance?
Vengeance.
Okay, so
it's a made-up word.
Yeah, that's probably why. Okay.
A made-up word.
Reverence. Let's go back to the original title.
Yeah. Metal Gear Rising. So anyway, that's next week, so make sure to watch for that. This is the last of the main reviews that will be going up. That will be good for the Tomb Raider giveaway. Metal Gear will be the first one for the next month's giveaway. So make sure to leave a comment below. Subscribe to our channel above if you liked what you heard and saw. I guess the gameplay in this that I'm probably showing is probably bad because it's Aliens. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, check out our website for updates on everything. We're going to be posting a little bit more newsier stuff as well as side reviews that are coming up soon. There's a couple of them that we just finished that should be going up throughout next week. And that's it. So thanks for listening, and remember to always trust in the rule of 3.